All right. So, welcome to the show. And this is not no. I wouldn't call this like your average your average show that you will get from me. It's actually gonna be a little bit different today. For the most part, like I'm definitely going to definitely be putting myself out there. Um, and being a little bit vulnerable today, um, because if for those who are extreme loyals of the show, and those who have really taken the time to invest in just the content, and really soaking up a lot of the messages that I put out, a lot of the great guests I have interviewed over the years. Those have been with me since day one, with recording a lot of the content. You guys have experienced firsthand, just the growth um, of what I do here, and it's so appreciative um, for people like you guys. I I can't express the gratitude I have for people that have supported me uh, this long, and that has came along on the journey to where we are now. You know, to the point where you know like I have someone who was supportive enough to bless me with this facility that I'm recording out of right now. I mean, this is definitely a blessing to be in this facility, and to be able to have some place to come and record. And I'm looking forward to when we have everything in here complete, so that we can invite others to experience the recording experience in person. Um, for those who are listening, you can't see, um, how it looks, but you know, so far, we got a nice coffee table in the middle. We got cups, and now we got a poster board, and on the wall, from my first documentary film. Um, it's on the wall, and so the wall is not so blank anymore. Got a nice lamp, and you know office desk, and mic, so it's coming to life. And um, to go is before the year is over with, to have it ready for people to come in person, to kind of chat with me and have a in person intimate experience. Uh, so to go back a little bit, I just want to apologize. Okay, I apologize. I really do. I apologize to you, those who truly support me, who's been supporting me since day one, those who's counting on me. All right, who's absolutely counting on me, who does take the example that I lead. You take it serious. You don't take what I say as though I'm joking, or though you can't do anything with it. You don't take for granted the guests that I have brought on the show. You don't take for granted the 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 collection of people that I put around me to produce similar, or maybe their own unique form of content. Mm, I, I I apologize to you. Outside of just thanking you, I apologize to you because, like, you know, um, I mean, it's very easy to blame um, just my my surgery that I recently had. It's very easy to just cast blame on that, and just really acknowledge the fact that, like, I had to do some recovery and some reset. But the biggest reset and the biggest recovery I had to make was uh, realizing that I had to make some very pivotal decisions, some real hardcore decisions, and embracing another stage of growth and transformation for my own life. Sometimes we are resistant. I know for me, I was having some internal battle with, and it's still kind of hard to kind of comprehend, or wrap my head around, what's exactly happening beyond just me out there, wherever out there is. But I know I was wrestling, I was resisting, that it was time for me to really mature and really accept full responsibility. Full responsibility, and also accept the consequences of acknowledging that once I take full accountability, that the consequences could lead to some temporary suffering, some temporary pain. It's going to lead to some loss, or perceived loss. And that it was going to ultimately possibly change me. Not completely change me, but change some parts of me that I didn't want to let go of. There was going to be some values shifted or disturbed. There was even going to be some bravery involved. Okay? Now, if you gathered all of that, yeah, and even for myself, as I'm trying to gather all of it too, I'm sitting here like, mm, I'm sitting here right now, even being more careful. I don't think we care about being careful when we feel like we don't have nothing to lose, or when we don't fear hurting ourselves or others. And this is where our world is right now. We Our world has evolved into a carefree world where people are fearless of hurting themselves and other people. But the flip side of that is that they they have no fear of possibly hurting themselves and others, but they afraid of losing their lives. They're afraid of losing their lives. They're afraid of losing comfort. They fight against any evidence or any hint of possible discomfort. They run away from it. This this world has really put a lot of people who are fortunate, and they don't realize how fortunate they are. And somehow, somewhere down the line, I was starting to follow in this pattern of of comfortability, being okay with just being okay with being okay, being okay with being comfortable. But when you can just sit back and enjoy the comforts of of um, of this fleshly and material life, and this physical life, these different things that comfortability, just provides. You do not take responsibility. You do not want to hold yourself accountable for anything, and you do not. You you, you start caring. You stop caring. You stop caring, and you start being fearless about hurting yourself and fearless about hurting others. Okay, so exactly what I was just saying, and this is what it's leading to. Okay, so comfort, contentment with comfort, it, it can lead, and I'm going to repeat it again, to lack of fear for hurting yourself and others, and taking no accountability, and not stepping up to be responsible. And shout out to Brenda, Brenda Kilhoffer out there, who just commented. She said, "Love this, stepping into big R responsibility." But being responsible, we have to if you're gonna throw around the word love, love is Love magnifies these things that I'm talking about right now: responsibility, being willing to be accountable, and caring. Okay, so I find it very hard that people in the world, really love other people and really love their own life. Why you say that? You said why would you say that like people are struggling to love other people and love their own life? That doesn't make sense. That's crazy. That's ludicrous. People don't have any concept of love anymore. Because if if you can take situations, uh, take countless days that's passing, and then turn around and say, "Hey, you know what? It's your fault," or yeah, no big deal. And either of those, either of those, or both of those, lacks the power of love. They lack the power of love. There's no love in saying, in allowing countless days or these situations or these crazy, you know things we come up with, these thoughts, these carefree thoughts that turn into opinions, carefree thoughts that turn into opinions. We think that like because we have a thought and it comes out of us, and either we apply that thought or we just put that thought out there, and when we send it out there, a thought, we think that it's factual because we can experience the thought coming out of us, or we just reactatory to the thought, and don't add in a feeling. You add in a feeling behind that. No, it's not fact, it's opinion. And these opinions, uh, that's based off of no substance. They're based off of no substance. Uh, they have no substance. They lack love. Okay, there's no love um, in these these quick thoughts. They're very quick and rapid. Because usually fueled by some type of feeling or emotion, and so you become reactatory, and you throw these opinions out there, and usually the opinions or the things, or the actions you take, the urges you act on, uh, it's evident that like you are casting the blame um, on someone else, or playing victim, or just like standing around, with your hands out like this, saying, yeah, so be it, whatever, hey, I didn't do it, but so be it, whatever, there it is, so be it, yeah, days that went by, but my hands wasn't on it. My hands wasn't on it. Yes, it was, and Brenda again comes back and say, how can we media programs, people to self-love, programs people to self-love. So the media programs people to self-love. We must love self to love others. That's deep. Yeah, the self-lofting. Yeah, media is programming people, and but sadly enough, although we got media that's heavily influencing people, we got the people who are very wrapped up in this material life, this physical life, that adopt that programming, um, and and unfortunately, we have the masses, uh, who we got a great deal of the masses who who's lacking this self love, who's lacking this ability to self love, that will be willing to attach themselves to what Jill and Joe is doing. Okay, they look at what Jill and Joe is doing, and because this lack of self love, and this lack of the ability to uniquely form their own intelligence, uniquely step into their own intelligence, uniquely step into the unique God-given intelligence to 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 contemplate on what is wise, what is truth, and be truthful. They rather run to the lies and attach themselves to the lies, because this fear of being alone, uh, this fear, this fear that that they won't be loved. But again, how can you even recognize love, without processing the love for yourself? Okay. Being responsible enough to understand who you are, being who you are, okay, being who you are, and loving every part of who you are, and in loving who we are, we don't run away from even our mistakes, even our bad choices, even the things that we know came from a part of us that's not necessarily truly who we want to be on the outside. We have to embrace all of that, and really take a hard look at it and say, you know what, I'm not going to beat up on myself, but I am going to I'm going to embrace this. I'm going to accept this for what it is, but I am going to transform it, because I got that much love and respect for myself to transform it, and really understand where I went wrong at, where it's coming from, to do differently and do better. Again, with the whole example of how I fell into comfortability, because I thought it was going to be easier just to, just watch what others doing, um, consume 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 information from everybody else. Um, Allow the social media to live my life on the social media, and just engage with who I was engaging with on a day-to-day basis, and boy, it led me wrong. It led me wrong, because doing just that, took me away from who I really am, who I really am, and who I supposed to be. Um, we call these things distractions, but there's two different types of distractions. There's uh, distractions that we allow, and distractions that we create. They both sound the same, but one comes from the outside, the one comes from within. And sometimes what happens is, like, the distractions that, like, the things that's like happening on the outside, like, people, things that you consume in, whether that be food or information, whatever that may be. You put that stuff, you allow those things to be put in you, and to influence you, and before not before long, you know, you create these, you have a constant reminder, constant recording within yourself of these things that you have allowed. They do become part of you inside somewhere, and then that's when you start, like, having these crazy feelings, these thoughts that's not even yours. You thinking that, like, these feelings and these thoughts, they completely yours, but some of this stuff is not even yours. We all being programmed here. We all are being sold to, like, think, or tricked into thinking that we have to hold on to this rope of junk that's, like, causing us to suffer, and causing us to battle. And because of that, we got what you see. We got a whole bunch of evil. And just call it what it is. It's evil. Got a bunch of evil. If it ain't evil, tell me what it is then. Tell me what it is. If it's not evil, it's evil. Got a bunch of evil. We got people who have allowed things inside of them, and now they're further tricking themselves to indulge and engage in evil. Yes. And I was getting ready to walk down that same line, because I found it easier just to allow things to be poured into me, because these things come stronger when you set out on a mission. You set out on a mission. You set out on some goals to accomplish and move forward on. Then all of a sudden, these distractions, they get presented before you, and the only reason you can see them is because you can feel that it's getting more challenging, more harder to take responsibility for your life. I was finding it harder to take responsibility for each day that was coming at me. It was getting tough to hold myself accountable. So, like any human being that has evolved over time, that still hold a lot of this primitive stuff, these primitive, what can I call them? I'm just gonna call them things that it causes either to fight or flight. I choose flight. I'm gonna fly away from this. I'm just gonna run from this. I'm gonna run from the toughness, the things that this tough part of life that's trying to hold me accountable, that's trying to make me more responsible. But if I would have just stopped right there and had a recognition, if I would have just maintained consciousness and just recognized that, like, hey, this temporary, well, it could be temporary. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes we don't allow suffering to be temporary. We drown ourselves in suffering continuously and continuously. But if I would have just allowed myself to just wake up and say, hey, you know what? This is all temporary. I would choose pain over the suffering and just go through this. I just get through it. I'll just tighten my belt up tighter and just go. Just keep going. And as I'm going, just shortly acknowledge the pain rather than like suffering the pain. And because like as you suffering, again, you're gonna do like I do. You're gonna choose flight. You're gonna run, or you're gonna sit there, complain, be miserable, blame, be a victim, suffer. You're gonna suffer, and then you're gonna try to make someone else suffer. Eventually, you're gonna want company, or you're gonna go find company. You're gonna find company. Company will. It won't be. It's not hard to find. Company. A whole lot of people that are suffering and don't mind your company and vice versa. Okay. But this is exactly what the media, this is what mainstream is selling you. They're like, hey, if it's tough, we got something else for you. We got an alternative for you. We got a way for you to just mask up, or hide away from, like, just stepping up, being responsible, just stepping up and just holding yourself accountable. You don't have to do that. We don't have to do that. We can just charge at other people. We can just just say, we can just forget about it, and just be merry and party and all that other stuff. Yeah. But once I made a decision, because it takes a decision, it takes a choice to choose to get out of that, cycle, to choose to get out of that pool of like nasty suffering. and that pool house party of everybody that's in misery. It takes choices and tough decisions. So once but usually it just starts with just one. Okay. But once I did that, once I decided, once I chose, made a choice, it hurt it. Okay. It hurt it. I ain't say it was gonna be it was gonna feel good. And Brenda come back and say, Brenda, our friend watching, she said, we can even blame government for our woes and not take responsibility for our own choices that give others powers. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. A lot of people do blame government, and they do not take responsibility for their own choices. They're giving others the power. I can talk about, I can talk about vaccines. I can talk about all of that, but like, I mean, but yeah, like, if you know that you're in trouble, if you know you're in trouble, and if you know you're in trouble, right? Say let's use for example, the most common, something that's kind of common among us all. Let's say you get into a car accident, right? Right? Car accident happens, and the other person, you guys, you guys get out the car. Maybe one of you might get out the car. If the other person appears badly hurt, or maybe you're badly hurt and you won't get out of the car, or maybe you're just too shooken up to get out the car. But whatever the case may be, the accident has happened. Somebody has to make a decision to either get out the car or run. Okay. Now, the easiest thing, if you like, sometimes we get a instant recognition that like, hey, I'm at fault. So if you're that person that know that you're at fault, there's only one or two options, or maybe three. The number one option is you can leave the scene. You leave the scene. You might not face the consequences right there, but you're gonna face some consequences, and there's gonna be some big consequences, right? Big consequences. Now, number two option is like, maybe you get out and say, "Ooh, what the heck you were doing? What were you seeing? What were you looking at?" So you cast blame, cast a bunch of blame on the other person. So look, one and two are very similar, right? But like, except number one is like, you did it, and like you're just gonna run for the situation. You're just gonna let it all work itself out. This is very troubling, very, very troubling. Okay, but number two is just like crazy. Like, you get out and you start cussing the person out, and you don't know if this person got a firearm inside of the car. You don't know what the heck, but you blame them. You don't know what this person went through. You're not even checking to see if they're doing okay. You just get belligerent. Okay. And this I have seen this happen even where people don't even know who was at fault, but people take that option, and it's just, I think it's just the most ridiculous option, but like, it's the most comforting option. It seems very comforting, but there's consequences with this one. Okay. The most obvious one is like the person get out the car, they snap out of it, and then like you're in this big confrontation right here, right there, and then there's going to even be bigger consequences, because once the police arrive on the scene, somebody might go to jail if it gets too aggressive, or you might somebody's going to, or you might just be cited, or you don't know. Number the other consequence to that is like, well, even though you go this back and forth, you're gonna have these long days in court, maybe long days in court, or maybe just this long period of just waiting for your adjuster to come out. You're waiting for you wait for a lawyer to get back at you, and like, you're still on edge. You still twiddling your thumbs, because you're scared to death. You don't know. You don't know what's going to happen, but you find out that you at fault, and what happens? Your insurance rates go up. You lose points on your driver's license, all type of stuff. So you see, you got consequences right there. You got bigger consequences later down the line. But but this is how people are. We start